Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. 1147 our solve count. Don't know how progress is going to go from here, because lots of these puzzles are very tough, and a couple of them I've kind of like looked in, poked for 15 minutes, made no headway into the puzzle, and then just like abandoned the recording. So things are going to get tricky here on out. Let's try this 6 and see what we're working with. Precision 5, mingle shape polyomino. Okay, well, some familiar elements here. This is 140. If in doubt, start with mouth. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100 is 40, which equals 8 non-polyos. Okay. So we have that to work with. Where else we go from there? Who knows? Right, we know this has to be either this or this, which means that this is one of the plus shape, and then it's ambiguous, get ready for this, to this or this. And then the same is true over here. It's either this or this. And so we know that this is part of the plus. And then this is ambiguous to this or this. Now, one is going to then define the other, because if this is true, this can't also be true trapping in this. So they are destined to be oppositions of one another. We just don't know quite how yet. It does tell us that this shape is going to have to do either this or this or this or this or this, which is interesting. Oh, here's an easy one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a box around it. Boom. All right, that's nice, because that gives us a really good in. I should have kind of looked more at the 5 different bits and pieces we have. I believe then, if this must take this tile, that must be that, which means that must be that, which means that must be that. And no. How does this go now? All right, let's undo that and double check what we thought about this. So that goes 5, has to go up to there. This is either this or this, has to take this tile in one of those two. Oh, this can do this. Of course it can. And by the failure of the reversion we just did, I presume that this one has to be correct. And then that's that. That's that. That's that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's ambiguous. No, it can't be ambiguous because we can't have those two touching. So I think we get all of that out of that, which is nice. Which means we get that one. And this can't be next to that. And we can't leave negative spaces. So I believe that has to be true. For this to then not make any problems. Oh, there's a couple of options. That can't be true because that can't fit in there. That can't be true because we can't have a second one of those. This could be true. Alright, let's think about what else we have now. This can't be this leaving that. So this is true. And this is true. And that leaves that not being possible. So we get this. And then we can't have a second one of those next to it. That can't go, so that's going to take up this. Then that takes that. This is probably this. If it can't be that. And we can't leave any space behind. Which leaves that ambiguous to this. This is flying by. Here's my next suspicion. That these two are going to be in the same region. And the game was out to trick us. Well, that can't exist touching next to that one. And there's no other way for that to go. So that is touching that one. If that goes there, this is an area of 6, which it cannot be. We can do that, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That can't reach there. But that can reach up there. That would have to come to here, because we can't trap in pieces over there. That leaves that as one of those. That there, that there. That is a different one of those. That is one of them. That is one of them. And a C shape. Again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't understand why that's a 6 when every step is so logically laid out to you. That could be a 4, really, because there's nowhere where, like, once you know that this goes up and those can't overlap, like they must take this tile and this tile, it's just handed to you as far as my brain can tell. These two are on this same pedestal. Are they going to be similar puzzles? Precision 5 mingle polyomino, yes. And Precision 4 bricky mingle polyomino. We will try the one that is not bricky and see if anything else still remains true. So we have all these regions. I don't think the math helps me here. I don't. Precision 5, mingle, polyomino. So same rules. Same rules apply. We only have this one of these. And I'm gonna... no. I was gonna say, I'm gonna make a guess here that after doing that, we can't subdivide the two halves, but we can. Which is a bummer, otherwise it would have been this or this given to us. But because it's not given to us, we're going to have to find a different way into this puzzle. Which looks scary. Okay, well, I think that has to be that, because the cross can't touch any other part of the puzzle. So, that's a start. Then, how many ways can we draw this guy that leaves not a non-divisible by 5 region above it? This leaves a 10. Doesn't have to touch this one. Is there any other way this can go? That can't go. That can go. That can't go. That can't go. That can't go. And coming to that being the only option, then the question's going to be, is it that? Or that? And is this piece over here going to have to disambiguate that? Because this means that this can't touch that bit. And so my best assumption, and it is an assumption, is that this is going to be this shape so that this can take up more of this wall without conflict. But I will leave those like this, just in query. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put that around that. So, leave those together. This could do this, hypothetically. Obviously, that looks tidier. These two can't touch. Anything else we have for... Similar to the previous puzzle, this is entirely allowed where two will be confined by the same shape. This can go either here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here. So that's no use to me at all. This guy can't leave a gap beneath it, which eliminates some of our possibilities, but possibly not enough. What else do we have? Okay. This piece cannot touch this tile, or this tile. So that means this must come out here, here, and here, which means this has to get out of where it is and do that. That means that comes out to there and there and does that. That then does that, which I thought would be how that goes, but that confirms it for me in a manner that doesn't involve guessing, which is lovely. That only leaves then a couple of ways we can orient this without dividing up space in a way that leaves non-fives. I'm guessing. It can't be that. How can I put this in without leaving a non-5 gap? Unless I've got this wrong. The logic seems sound. I just can't see the packing puzzle option for this. Is this correct? So, this tile can't have a Z touching a Z. Neither can this tile or this tile. So, this has to get out. That leaves this. This has to be oriented this way, doesn't it? Because if it did this, we leave a 2-gapper, which we can't have. These two can't exist in the same space. Yeah, I'm very happy with putting that down. My brain doesn't see how this can exist without being a problem. Can't do this leaving 1. Can't do that leaving 2 and 1. Can't do that. Am I going bonkers? Oh. There it is. Okay. We've got 1/4 of the puzzle mostly solved. That does lead us on nicely, though, that this is a poison tile for this shape because they are touching. If this does this, then this T can't ever exist, which is crucial to know. So, the top must take the 2. Can't do that, can't do that. If it does this, the T can exist, but this is 6. If it does this, that's 4. That would allow that to fit. I'm not 100% that this is the only way, but it's the only way that I saw while doing that exercise. Once again, poison, poison, poison. So this is going to have to get out somehow. Can't be this, because that makes another one of those. How do we put the T in? This I like. There's going to be a little bit of finessing, I'm sure. The really scary thing would be able to would be finding a correct solution for one of these, and for it to be the wrong solution. Because up here, I'd already decided I could do that or that. And if I find a version of that down here where I'm like, oh, it all fits, so it must be true, when it's not, would be a little upsetting. Right, that can't go there, so that's probably going there, because that still fits. And then that lets a W happen. Well, if nothing else, I kind of like this, because it means that this is now a poison tile to this shape. And anytime that we can use that to then carry on going clockwise until this then becomes a poison tile for this shape, and hopefully that's how that resolves. So, this can't go up. Can't do that. Can't do that. That only leaves, I believe, this. That means this must get out. Can't leave a 1. Can't do the same shape twice. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Oh, I can do that one though. I guess it's going to have to be that. Okay. Well, that's fine. If this keeps moving around, I'll be happy about it. So, this, oh, or this seems likely. In fact, is it necessitated by the fact that now this shape can only be this or this? So this is ambiguous to this. And if it was this one, then we can't let this exist. There's nowhere for it to go that doesn't cause a gap. So that goes that way. Lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4. I suspect 5 so that this can still come left, or this so that this is forced up. But we will work on the rest of the shape and see what we get. So, can't be this, nor can it be that. Can't be that for 7. Can be that for 11. Can't do that, though. Could be this, if it had to be. But can't be that. So keep exploring options. Gosh, I hope this is all correct so far. I know I could check progress, but I don't want to right now. No other way this can go, is there? Well, I can do that. And this logic still applies, but I get one more tile of freedom up here, which is interesting. Well, if nothing else can leave a even gap, it would assume that then this is going to happen. But also, if this is true, then this can be true, and a lot of my concerns on this side start to break down into being lots of other potentials. Can't do two of those next to each other. Oh, this is scary. This could all be all kinds of different, couldn't it? Alright, well, lacking anything better, we will presume that this is correct because this gives us a line into this being true. And if this is true, and we can solve this mini part of this puzzle, we can then just kind of do the corner as its own minor exercise. This is 10. I can't do this again. So is that. And then we just do these. Can't do that. How else can I fit this shape in here? Can I? I can do it the other way. Well, for a 7, didn't put up much of a fight. Now I'm scared, because normally I like to go for a half hour, but jumping into another 7 is going to be like a big deal. This has bricky that I don't really want to try and deal with right now, but I guess we'll give it a couple minutes, and if I find a good end to the puzzle, we'll try and jig our way forward. Precision, bricky, mingle, polyominoes. Alright, puzzle, we've got 5 minutes to give me an in while I rehydrate. Okay, the bottom left is a good start. Do you see why? Also, just a side note, this could be true. That is a valid shape. But right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means this is definite, and we have a 1, 2 ambiguity. So that's something. I do like it when I have something. Also, this must take this tile, because there's nowhere else for that to go. Equally, this must take this tile, because there's nowhere else for that to go. So then those are ambiguous on top and bottom. Top and bottom to be 4s. This can't do this because it leaves a 1. So this must do that. That's nice. Love that for me. I'm sure bricky is going to be important soon, and I don't know who, what, where, how, when. This can't do this. Can't do that. Can do this, perhaps. Could also potentially do this. Or this. Or this. So, fat use of lot that was to me. Let's see. If these two don't join together, they can't touch. So we can't do this and this. It's not allowed. Which would mean this and this. Oh no, that could be that. But this one would have to go this way. If this one must go this way, then that limits us on how many of these we can have in place. Is there one that would allow another 4 to touch this 4? By the looks of it, I don't see one. There's the only 2 that I can do to make this fit, and they both result in a mingle shape violation. And we can't do this and this because they do still touch. And so from that, we can conclude this must be 2 that touch like this. Fine by me. So, this can't be true. But that doesn't tell me if this is a thing or if this is a thing. But hey, I would say for the 5 minutes I was going to give it, we did indeed get a reasonable start. Right, that must go there. That's a thing that is true about the puzzle. What else do we know? It's a great question. I don't think this can go up, because then that presents this. Ergo, that must go down. Don't know about this side yet, but that's fine. This line can't exist, so we must play that. Where those carry on, I don't know yet. That could do that. That could not do that. Could do that. Could do that. So, too many options there, I think, to be super useful. These could also be within the same region, but much easier to make them not be in the same region. What else do we know? That could be true, so we don't know that this is definitely going up rather than down yet. That's just kind of a lot of colouring to not that much result. I can't do that. I can't do that. It's interesting. But none of that is admissible in court, unfortunately. So, press on. What else do we have? What else do we have? Okay, use what we know. Precision, it's fine. Bricky and mingle shape. So that can't do that. Could do that. Can't do that. Doesn't tell me tons, to be honest. If this did this, we can't. It could do that. That's not very useful, is it? That must exist. This can't do that, because that would be 4 points meeting. So that eliminates one of those. Can't be that either. That is telling us some stuff. Now, this feels great, but it's very vibes, and I cannot deny it. We immediately come up against... If this is a T, something has to go here. That is not this. This could be a 2x2. If this solves real fast, I'll be amazed. Ah. The L's, you see. The L's. Right, so this becomes a ground where we're touching all kinds of other things that we can't touch. Can't do that. That's interesting. So there's probably something all wrong around here, almost certainly, but I'm going to let my brain play this out just a little more. Is there a polyomino I'm forgetting about? I don't think there is. Oh, I probably just coloured way too much. Getting too hopeful that I would magically stumble across the answer. This doesn't help me, does it? That's a great point. If I've got this, I had something here. So this is ZT. Oh, I had it as ZT the whole time. Okay. This is the one that doesn't work. Now I'm just colouring and I shouldn't because I know it ends badly. And this is the only way I can resolve this, and that's almost certainly wrong. How far back did I actually have? I guess it was the stuff that wasn't lined up. So, yeah, This is all certainly so wrong, isn't it? Tell me how wrong I am. Oh my god, it's correct. I hate it. Oh, my vibes coloring was good up to this point. Alright, well. I'll take it. So how do we resolve this? This can't do this and leave that. So that has to be this. This can't be an L. This can't be an L. Can't be a zigzag. So this must be a T. Oh, how did I not see this? If I was so close. I just didn't see that the Z could go left and the T could go right. At least I didn't undo all the work to then redo the work, I guess. I'll take it. I'm going to be kind of forgiving to myself on these 7s. But hey, that is this whole little pedestal done. So that's nice. How are we doing over here anyhow? 12 of 16 for silver, 12 of 34 for ruby. Well, progress is progress for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.